Welcome to the beautiful, serene Clearwater, Manitoba, where we're here at the Harvest Moon Festival. I performed last night with Pi, the music of Cake. The show went great, and today we're going to talk a little bit about my civilian career as a professional musician and focus on the work-life balance between a career in the Naval Reserve and your civilian career or education. We're going to talk about some of the programs, policies, and resources we have in place to find that balance. And first, we're going to check out the festival and take a look at the performance last night.
Best dressed set of legs you'll see right here at this festival, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jimmy James, the platoon commander, right here. This is that man. That is correct. I know. I looked up your title, folks. I am Johnny Moonbeam, and it has been a wonderful evening to spend with you. How about one more time for the volunteers for the sound folks? In a wooden boat in the shipping lanes with the freighters towering over me, I can hear the jets flying overhead, making lines across the darkening sky. But when the sun is going down, I can take a taxi into town, and the waiter at the restaurant says it's just for one. Okay, wheels keep on spinning round, spinning round, spinning round. Spinning round and round, okay. So I had a plane to take me, and this side over here, you're gonna sing along with the guitar player. You're gonna go like this. Spinning round. Yeah. That's it, and then it comes around again, and you go. Spinning round. Do not stop on pain of death. Let's hear it. All right, this middle section, you're gonna follow. Who are you gonna follow? It doesn't really matter. The drummers. All right, Jimmy James has got you. Your part like this goes. Keep going. So it goes. Spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round, spinning round, spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round, spinning round, spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round. Spinning round, pretty good. Spinning round. This side, you're gonna follow Rusty. And your part goes like this. Spinning round, goes like this. Spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round. Spinning round. Spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round. Spinning round. Spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round. Spinning round. Okay, let's hear the crowd. Let's hear the crowd. Bring it down. Keep on spinning round. Spinning round. This part dropped right off, but it's cool. It's cool. Rusty will show you. So. One last time, everybody. Bring it right back up. Wheels keep on spinning round, spinning round, spinning round. Wheels keep on spinning round, spinning. Are not in love with me. Nice job, everybody. That's how we do it. Folks, thank you so much. We are Pi, the music of Cake. It has been an honor to close the night out after such great music.
So, first of all, the Naval Reserve is a part-time job, but we also require full-time training in the summer, sometimes for weeks or even months at a time. So that can be difficult if you have a full-time career or if you're a full-time student or have other commitments, family obligations, whatever it may be. It can be difficult to find the time to go and do the training. So we're going to talk about some of the resources that we have available to help make that possible. One organization is the CFLC, the Canadian Forces Liaison Council, and I will link their webpage in the description below. So the CFLC will advocate for members of the Canadian Armed Forces to their civilian employers, and they have a couple of different programs in place that can help you get time off work to do military training. One of the things they'll do is just simply advocate on your behalf. They could write a letter or have other communications with your employer to kind of help explain why doing military training is such a benefit to them, right? They're getting free professional development training and skills for their employees. You're going to come back with leadership or whatever other specialized skills according to your occupation from your training, so it can be very valuable for them to give their employees time off to complete this training. Another thing is they have some programs if you're on a named operation, if you're actually being deployed, where they will even pay your civilian employer for you to go on operation. They'll pay an amount that would be equivalent to hiring a replacement for you while you're gone. That's one of the programs they have in place, and they have all kinds of different programs. I encourage you to check out the CFLC webpage, link below, and see if there's any programs there that can help you. Next, I want to talk about job protection legislation. Here in Manitoba, we have job protection legislation for members of the Canadian Armed Forces and the Reserves. I'm not sure about other provinces, but I'm sure you can look it up easily. I'll link the Manitoba page below. Basically, there is actual legislation in place that states that your civilian employer is required to give you time off to conduct military training or operations. So you don't have to worry about losing your job if you're going on military training. But still, I think it's a good idea to engage with the CFLC, to have a positive communication with your employer, and make sure that you have things worked out in advance before you go taking time off for military training. Next, I want to talk about EDNT, which is exemption from drill and training. This is basically like taking a leave of absence. So if you're starting a new job, or you're starting a new program at school, or you have some kind of family obligation, or whatever the reason may be, as long as you have a good reason, you can apply for EDNT, where you're going to get time off from work, where you can focus on other aspects of your life and are not required to report for duty with the Naval Reserve. Just one note here is that if you're on EDNT, this period of time will not count towards your pensionable time or time in for promotion. Basically, it won't count as time served. Another important point is that this isn't indefinite. I think it can be up to 1 year. I'll look that up and I'll post a link in the description for EDNT. All right, next I want to talk about the Executrek. So an Executrek is an opportunity for you to invite your civilian employer to come and see what we do at the Naval Reserve. Sometimes it could just be an open house, or there's other opportunities for you to invite your civilian employer to come and check out your home unit. So we've done this before at HMCS Chippewa, and it's very effective. When you bring people in from civilian business leaders or other organizations or employers, come in and see what we do, and show them some of the training that we're doing and what their employees, what you are doing during your Naval Reserve training, can be very effective to gain their support and for them to see how great it is and how valuable it is for their employees to be receiving this training and all the skills that go along with it. So take a look if your home unit has an Executrek available. Okay, we talked about EDNT, but what if you want to take more than 1 year off, but you still don't want to release from the Canadian Armed Forces? Well, then we have the Supplementary Reserve. So right now I'm a member of the Primary Reserve. If you're actively serving, it's called the Primary Reserve. We also have the Supplementary Reserve, which basically means you can not be required for duty and not report to work and not be actively serving, but if you decide that you want to come back to the Primary Reserve, it's going to be an easier switch to reactivate yourself from the Supplementary Reserve than if you were to release from the Canadian Armed Forces and then reapply from scratch. So if you need an extended period of time away from the forces, from the Primary Reserve, but you don't want to release, you don't want to throw in the towel completely, you can always request to transfer to the Supplementary Reserve. Wanted to get this awesome grain elevator in the background. All right, so let's talk about if you're a student. So if you're a student, a couple of different things I want to talk about. Number one is the most common issue that I find with students is, say you're in a program that for whatever reason has a mandatory class that you need for your degree, and it's on a Tuesday night, the same night as our weekly training night. So this happens more often than you would think, and we do work around it. So we have an opportunity to have an alternative training plan. So if you have a conflict with the training night on Tuesdays, you don't have to go on EDNT, you don't have to take a leave of absence. We can find a way that's going to make it work for you. We can train on a Thursday night or maybe on the weekends or whatever we need to do to keep you engaged and keep you able to progress with your training and your career with the Naval Reserve while you focus on your education. Other thing I want to mention, I've talked about in other videos, but we'll just quickly review the academic reimbursement policy. So for academic reimbursement, you can get up to a maximum of $8,000 towards your degree or diploma. Basically, you have to apply for it. You have to say what the academic program that you're doing and write a bit of a justification, and you'll get 50% of your tuition up to $2,000 per year for a maximum of $8,000 reimbursed for your education. So definitely a good program to work with students. So if anyone's seen that new Woodstock 99 documentary that just came out, this festival is basically the exact opposite. Great vibes, great people, great facilities, Everything is fantastic, feeling good, having a great time. If you want to see more, they got a professional film crew here capturing everything, and I think they're posting it on Vimeo. So check that out if you want to see more of all the great performances. So this is the Harvest Moon Festival here in Clearwater, Manitoba. Highly recommended. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.